Good evening, everybody. Thank you for your attendance tonight. Appreciate it. We have an action-packed meeting tonight. I'm going to start with reading the usual announcement about the fact that this meeting is being recorded and broadcast on the Town of Barnstable's Government Access Channel. In accordance with Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 30A, Section 20, the chair must inquire whether anyone else is recording the meeting, and if so, make their presence known. Seeing nobody, we'll move on. We'll do attendance for a roll call first.
Maureen Piccioni.
Rich French. Yeah, Rich French.
Yeah. Bill Carey.
Renee King.
Pete Sampu.
Nina Coleman, Park Manager.
And Tom O'Neill. Thanks, everybody. Okay, minutes. Anybody have any comments about last month's minutes? Bill?
Yeah. I don't think it's completely accurate, the section under motion. Let's see, that's page 3. Let me see, what was it? That last sentence, or second to the last sentence there.
Hang on, I'm just going to pull it up here. September minutes.
Where it says, we understand that there might be parts, you with me on this?
Yeah, go ahead.
We understand that there might be parts of the project not funded by grants, and we recognize that the potential for taking debt, which would be funded out of the enterprise account, is still a present issue, blah, blah, blah. So it's not correct that we would be coming up with the extra money by funding debt out of the enterprise account. That's not really what's going on.
That's precisely what's going on. What are you suggesting would be different?
Well, okay,
You're the banker.
so the enterprise account isn't creating debt.
No,
It's not available there for us to create the debt and make up the shortfall. I think it's just incorrect the way it's stated here.
I think technically the town takes the debt, and then the cost of the debt is allocated to the enterprise account, I'd imagine.
Well, I think
How
what
should it read?
okay, so this is what I think we want. And I didn't re-listen, to the talk that we had. I know it was rather extended, but I think what we want to say is replacing that second to the last sentence with any shortfall of funds not provided by grants shall be funded by up to $1 million from the enterprise fund reserve and remainder from bond financing. I think that's really what we were agreeing to.
I'd be a little careful changing a vote, though. Unless you guys want to revote.
However, I think it's not,
Isn't that what we voted
that wasn't,
for?
well, that's what I thought I voted for, what I just said.
Right.
But I think with a vote, and I happen to know that was a really important vote, and that was taken
Yeah.
verbatim from
Oh.
the
Was it?
video.
Because I did not listen to, I didn't go back in
Okay.
and re-listen to it.
I also represented to the town council last week, or whatever it was, 2 weeks ago,
Couple weeks ago. But they
that
didn't
vote was
vote on it, so.
was
we still
taken.
have a room, we do have a little room, I'm not a financial person, to write it so that we are saying what we mean, and that when they hear it, right, and it, because I can't speak on that level of it, but we do, they didn't vote, which is good, they heard it, it has to go back, right, to be voted on. And when it comes to the finances, are we changing anything with what was written and what was stated? Or are we making it better or more accurate?
Honestly, I'm reading it 3 times and I don't see any problem with it. Go ahead, Pete.
I think it's important, Bill, that whatever we said, even if it's not absolutely correct from a banker's standpoint, what we voted on, if that's the precise wording, we ought to stick with it. And, maybe it's not exactly what it should mean, but that's what we voted on. And I don't think
What we
it's
said-
held against us.
What we said in the discussion and what we said to the town council is that if there is a shortfall from the grants, we already know we have to match $1 million out of the enterprise account for the grant we received from Massachusetts. So that's correct. And then any shortfall from there is going to be funded by debt, presumably taken by the town, since they have no standing to take debt in an enterprise account. So they would take the debt through the town. Town gets an amortized cost for that debt and passes it on to the enterprise account as an allocation as part of the budget. I mean, that's normally how it would work in my experience with these things. So they get an allocation for X amount of dollars per month, which is paying down that debt. I mean, to me, that's what we talked about, and I think that's what
That is what.
to me, that's the way it'll work. Whether or not this is accurately representing that, to me it does, but I'm open to
I think the
suggestions.
wording in here that basically says it all, the general fund is the backstop for the project to proceed.
Right.
All right? So basically, it's right there in print that they say that basically, if they do go over, we do have to go to the general fund to get that excess taken care of.
Well, in fact, the appropriation that it'll go before the town council this week is exactly that. The town council approving
Right.
from the general fund $3.8 million to cover the cost that's currently not funded by the existing grants. Now, our discussion was, yeah, but we have a time of the essence issue here because the grant that we have has to be used in a certain period of time. So we can't sort of do this in a serial manner. We have to do it in a concurrent manner. So we have other grants we're applying for. We have a strong feeling that we're going to get them, but we need to get this approved so we can
Go for
continue the
those
timing of the
grants,
project.
So we can proceed further.
Right, because
the next step.
if we don't build it by the time frame we're planning now, which is kind of 25, 26, we lose the grant, the first grant. So then we'll be
Lose that.
Well, then we'll be 2.8 million in the hole again. So there's a lot of moving parts to this, and there's a big ask of the town to sort of put that 3.8 million out in front because we don't know at this point what we're going to get for grants, but we're pretty confident we'll cover it. But so I don't think we need. I mean, and this is what we told the town council at the meeting. I mean, one of the things I said was that we have approved this, unanimously. The board has said they. So I'm a little hesitant to start wordsmithing at this point. I think we understand the context and the concept we're talking about is pretty clear, but it's town that takes the debt. Chris, jump in if you're.
Thank you very much. No, I think that the presentation was very effective, and I think that even though the strategy is to make the proposal with the general fund as a backstop, but with the caveat that there is high expectations that may not likely be used up. It might be used temporarily as a bridge until you get other funding or the fee schedules kick in or whatever.
And the council was okay. So
Well,
we're just,
I should say the council listened. So there's 13 members of the council, 4 were absent, 9 were present, and the reason why a vote was recommended not to be taken is you could not afford one no vote. You needed 2/3 majority to pass. So it was suggested that you make the presentation, let the public and the councilors have a chance to think it out, and with the expectation that you'll have a greater complement of councilors to vote, to get 9 yes votes. And the feeling was, I was told afterwards, you probably had the votes, but probably isn't guaranteed. And,
Right.
and that's the big get. It also was presented as a change of policy by the town in general, in that the enterprise funds are supposed to be standalone, that they're dipping into the general fund is a change in policy, or that's how it was presented. Although there has been precedence, as the town manager explained to us, that the general fund was used in the past for the Hyannis Youth and Community Center.
In a similar
that-
kind of process.
Yeah,
But it's
big
different.
projects.
It serves a different constituency. They do after-school programs. I mean, it's almost like a boys and girls club in some ways. But go ahead, Renee.
but we are an extension, so I want to make sure that that's really clear, and that was one of the asks, is to have Sandy Neck present at the Recreation Commission. So I'm sitting here because there is our relationship from the standpoint of the community that we serve. We have such a broad set of resources for different interests recreationally. So HYCC is one area, but if you look at all the additional things that Sandy Neck offers, it's another, and it's all good for our community we serve. So that's really why it's so important for me to sit here with you and for you to be invited to share this project with the Recreation Commission.
Right.
We're serving
Yeah,
the
which
same
I'm happy to
community.
do. I'm sure Nina would be too. You let us know what you need.
You are a fantastic advocate and liaison from the rec department.
Yep.
That goes without saying. I do suggest that, if possible, the members come to the council meeting where this will be voted on and sit together in front. There is communication other than coming to the microphone. That when a council sees that there's unanimity in a committee's effort with their body language. When I come to a meeting and that room is full, I'm like, uh-oh, something's up, or we know. But I'm just saying that I think that it has value.
It does.
And if during public comment, if Tom wants to speak and say, my committee members are here, we discussed this, and, something like that.
Yeah, happy to do that.
Let me ask you a question, all right? There's always a section in there that says for chairman of other,
Oh, right.
okay? Why can't he speak during that time
He
period?
can,
Okay?
I'll ask.
As opposed to
to public comment. Right,
public comment.
sure.
I mean, he did already speak when we
Yeah, I
presented.
spoke last week.
No, I know, but I'm saying on the 24th, all right, when the time comes and he,
With official vote.
and it's an official vote, well, he's the chairman, okay? He should be able to speak during that
Discussion.
that is set up for chairman of whatever, whether rec or whether it's Sandy Neck or whatever, as opposed to just in public comment.
Good idea, Dick, Rich.
Now, just got to remember what I said last time.
Well, the section, you can watch it on video. But there is a section, communications from boards, committees, and commissions, a special bullet line. So that you don't necessarily, unless you have advocates from Beach Buggy that might want to speak at public comment,
Right.
that would be public comment time. But during boards, committees, commission, I think that's a good idea to have a request to the town leadership to, I wouldn't keep it much more than 4 minutes or something like that. It's going to be a long agenda. We have a couple of meaty things on there.
Yeah, I would just kind of refresh the minds of the people I spoke to last time and just
And the ones that
make
weren't there.
2 or 3
Yeah,
key
very
points
likely
around
there are
that.
people who weren't there and didn't look at the minutes or didn't look at the video. So you might be telling the story for the first time to some people.
Yeah, that's fine. Happy to do it.
But with regard to the motion and the way it's written, I would like to let you guys know, be very careful about how you start wordsmithing that.
Yeah.
So if
I
you're
mean,
okay
you can
with
do
it,
another vote after, but I wouldn't.
I'd like to.
I didn't know about this meeting. I didn't know that you'd already appeared before
We were
the
emailed.
town council. I didn't get that email.
Yeah, we all did, because they were trying, and, yeah,
When did you? when
because
did
you were telling us when it was, you were telling us the
Yeah,
time.
the last meeting.
For the last meeting, but you sent several emails out for us to go as a unit.
Yeah.
So that was that. I want to make sure, I'm getting ready to make a motion, that you're okay with everything that's been discussed.
I mean, it's sort of past tense at this point, if it's already been
Right.
talked to. And I didn't realize that. I mean, I went to the one that got canceled to that
Right.
town
Oh, right,
council.
Right.
yeah.
I went to that one, I didn't,
Right.
so I was waiting to hear, when the next one would be.
It was the,
So,
I only have the canceled one.
I was just trying to make it
Not the
clear
19th, it was the next
that
one.
if it hadn't gone to the town council at
Town
this point,
10th, it was on
we
the
needed
10th.
to really work
10th.
on clarifying what we were talking about here. And I just thought, saying that it was debt coming out of our enterprise fund doesn't make sense. That's not correct. That's not accurate.
Yeah, the debt is not coming out of the enterprise debt's provided, the town,
It's the backstop.
takes tons and tons of debt, and then they,
And that's why that shouldn't have been worded the way it was. And if we still had time before we appeared before, the town council, then we should have changed it, that's all.
yeah, I think the concept is clear.
Yep.
They, being by definition, when they're approving this appropriation, they're approving it on the basis that they, as we said, we use the term bridge loan, basically, that we're trying to keep this timeframe tight so we can keep that first grant. So this is the only way to do that. And there will be, other grants coming, and there may be some residual amount left over that we have to kind of understand and deal with. But that's part of the reason we're having these fees discussions, and make sure our revenue stream is strong, so that if we do get allocated some service costs from the town, it's like any business. When I was running a department in a company, the company would take debt, and they would allocate to me the cost of that, whatever it is, the amortization cost for that month or whatever, would get sent to my budget. I didn't go out and get the bond myself, So I think it's the same principle here, and so I think this is clear enough, in my opinion.
It's the same thing that happened when we built the bathhouse.
Bathhouse, yeah.
Right,
Right.
same thing.
Anything large, I can imagine the airport's an enterprise account, right? If they were going to build a new runway, I would guess the town would have to take that debt and then allocate it to the enterprise account, so.
I'll make a
The motion to.
Well, go ahead, Chris, go ahead, you wanted to say something?
No, I just said the airport comes with its own money,
Oh, does it? Yeah.
federal money,
Okay,
FAA money.
There you go.
A motion to approve the minutes from our September meeting.
second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Okay, motion carries, thank you.
Chris, can you just go over again where and when you would like us to show up for the meeting?
The meetings start at 6 o'clock, so whoever gets there first, find out who's coming and save some seats and sit together. I think that just,
And it's
preferably up in
it's
front.
this
This
Thursday.
This Thursday.
Thursday, October 24th,
Yeah.
at 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
And the location?
Right across the hall here.
Right here.
Right across the hall here?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
The calendar before I forget.
I should ask Nina and Tom, do you need to go over with the town attorney over how much of a presentation they're expecting this time around? We saw the whole presentation, but I don't know if they're going to be looking for presentation light.
Yeah, I'll touch base with upper management.
Yeah.
I was assuming that I would just have it. I think, so,
You mean have the PowerPoint
I'd
presentation?
have it, because I have all the material in there. But I didn't receive any questions from counselors. I certainly, opened it up for people to reach out to me, which is usually a good sign that they're on board with the project. But I could do a 3-minute canned something, I think. Is
I would
probably good.
do that, Nina, because I think if you don't want to have 4 of them feeling like
Yeah.
they've been left out of the discussion, so.
Well, the important slide was the money slide, so maybe we'll just go there.
Yeah.
I can suggest, I'm trying to think of the best way to do this. Your PowerPoint presentation, as all PowerPoint presentations, are available to the public. It's under the town council's website, and there's a tab on the right that says presentations. It's a drop-down menu. So we have been requesting that if there's anything, especially things with a lot of numbers in it, that I can go, the public, a reporter once, I told this to a reporter once, I said, oh, you don't have to watch the town council meeting, you can look at the PowerPoint presentation. They said, you're kidding me. I said, nope, it's public information, you can grab it anytime. And they're in chronological order, so the most recent is posted first, so which would have been our last council meeting. So you might want to send a link, ask Cindy to send a link to all counselors that we presented last week. And here's you might want to include the presentation, but also a link to where it is on the website on their own, if they want to, if they had any questions. But you can do a brief overview on at the next meeting or something like that.
That's perfect.
Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense.
That's going to be the same overview that I'm going to ask you to present to the next recreation.
And what's the date on that, Renee?
That is November, let me turn my phone off. No, it's the first Monday of November.
Okay, good.
You don't need me there, you just need Nina?
You can come. It's virtual, so it's so easy. You can show up, please.
Oh. What date is it again?
The first Monday in November.
And it starts at 5:30.
Yikes. Okay, I shall be there.
Just as sort of a follow-up. So if there were 4 counselors that were missing and was voted on
It was not voted.
pending,
No.
okay,
Vote.
pending this next vote, what's the likelihood that there'll be an issue? I mean, is there any way of knowing that could be suddenly an issue where
No,
4
we,
counselors didn't show up the first time?
no, I don't think so. It's just that it was out of insurance that we could not afford a single no vote.
White,
Yeah.
because of the 2/3.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we don't usually, aren't made aware that there's going to be a quorum issue until we get closer to the day.
Yeah.
Like somebody's on vacation or they
Right.
have out of town for some reason. So I don't know why anyone was absent, but I know it's a high priority. So
Okay.
so I don't expect that that'll be a problem this time around, and I don't expect you're going to have a problem with the vote. I'm just saying that it was more astute to
Absolutely.
wait, and it also serves, because it's a lot of information, gives a little time for people to digest it and come to terms. If they have any questions, they can revisit the PowerPoint. But I just think that if you want to abbreviate the chit chat or any questions, it's going to be a long meeting, or I anticipate it'll be a long meeting. That if you send out the PowerPoint, that those that were absent, or it'll be a refresher for those who didn't.
Yeah, I think if you, just like you said, send it out, we get to the meeting, just say, we'll assume you've all read it. We're going to give you a brief overview. Any questions?
Yep.
And we're sorted.
Yep.
That's exactly the way you stated it. Perfect.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, excellent. You all set, Nina? You clear?
Ready to go.
Okay, so we did pass the minutes. Okay, good.
And like I said, if there are any letters of support from any associations or Beach Buggy or something like that, this is a good time to throw it out. Just,
Well, the beach buggy would be the obvious group to pitch in, I guess. If do you have any? I'll ask Wendy maybe what she thinks about that, or
There's no reason why we couldn't send a letter in. I think somebody would have to get together and know exactly how you want it worded, and how
Yeah.
short or how long you want the letter.
right, short.
I would say it'd be simple. We have read and understand the proposal as put forth by the Sandy Neck Board, and we wholeheartedly support it.
Yeah,
If that's,
short and sweet.
That's before this Thursday.
Right. If you can't do it, you can't do it. But if you can,
how about the educators that use the place? Can they throw out the letter? Just,
I-
I don't think you really need it, but it looks like a slam dunk
Well,
when you.
to be honest with you, the MVP grant, we went over the top of the letters of support. So we went
Oh,
after
I see.
MBBA, gave us a letter.
So maybe
all
you
the
can harvest those
educators.
letters and share them,
There's a million
because
of them.
the council wouldn't have seen it. The grant funders did. So none of the
Honestly,
councilors.
I think that's an easier way. We can just have I could just have a list of the agencies
Yeah,
that
okay.
have
Yeah, rather
endorsed.
than having to read all the letters, just a
Yeah.
list
All right.
of the support.
That's a good idea.
yeah. I mean,
Because-
by definition, the fact that MVP gave us the grant, that's probably the biggest letter of support, really. I mean, they coughed up $2.8 million.
I understand,
Yeah.
but the councilors want to see fiscal
Yeah, yeah,
responsibility, but second, that there is a groundswell support
Right.
from the residents, not from the funders.
Right.
So if those are local letters, I think that would bolster or fortify.
Is that the one where we got I got the letter from Cape Wildlife, too? Was that?
Yeah,
grant?
we have Cape Wildlife, we
Yeah,
have.
that's a good idea.
A
Just
number of
send a list.
schools. What?
Audubon?
Audubon, Nature Conservancy.
That makes good sense. That's what I think, hearing that level of support by a counselor
local
who's hearing
community.
this who may hear it for the first time on Thursday.
Yep, okay.
Thanks.
Thank you. suggestions? Okay. Correspondence.
I don't have any.
Okay. Notes, Madam Chair, we don't have anything. Staff report? Are you doing slides?
I have a slide. This is the one I want.
Good.
Can we know? Okay. I can't see, it's my problem. All right.
Oh.
All right. No, the little tiny button in the
I
corner
know it
there,
exactly. I
like,
couldn't see it.
All right, so just to remind everybody, we're coming into the off-season, which starts on November 1st. So right now, our gatehouse hours are 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Until Halloween, and then we'll be 8 a.m., I'm sorry, after Halloween, we will be 8 to 4. I'm sorry, what did it say here? Beginner number by appointment. Beginning November 1st by appointment only, but we do have staff available quite a bit. So that is the gatehouse. The off-road beach is right now 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. And then beginning November 1st, we're 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Campfires are only allowed till the 31st of October, and the speed limit is 15 miles an hour on the beach. I wonder if this will turn it. No. Oh, I know, here.
Just next, right there. Top thing.
Usually just does it.
So you lost a little bit.
Yeah, we're over here.
Yeah. St. Nick merchandise is available at the gatehouse. The bathhouse has been closed for the season. There's 2 portable toilets that we're going to leave in the upper lot. All the portable toilets have been removed from the ORV beach, and fall hunting has started. This Saturday was the first day that we stocked pheasant, and all hunters must sign in at the gate. Reminding folks that Sunday is a no-hunt day for those that are worried about hiking during hunting season. October events. October 14th, we have the St. Nick Fall Hike, which has already happened. And on the 26th, we have the Trunk or Treat, which is super fun. I think that this is Hannah's little boy. So we do it in the St. Nick.
That's this Saturday.
The trunk or treat is the 26th. That does sound like Saturday. Thank you for that clarity. We do it with the fire department in the Sandy Neck lower lot, and the kids love it. Give out a lot of candy. Coast Sweep was in September. Really great turnout this year. A really beautiful day. Thank you, MBBA, and all the volunteers that joined us. Our Eagle Scout project is moving forward. The boys installed this kiosk. There are 4 of them, I believe, that were a part of his project. This one's right at the gate. And in addition, from a past Boy Scout project, if you go up to the upper lot, there's a beautiful
Osprey?
little osprey, little information about the osprey pole that was put up. So enjoy that. Look, again, beautiful day after beautiful day. I would like to point out. Congratulations to our very own Ryan Henry. So as you know, we moved Anne Marie up to assistant park manager, and Ryan has been working with the shellfish team and has been moved into a natural resource officer position full-time at Sandy Neck. Great guy, really excited to have him on board. Big fisherman.
What is he holding? Squid? Those are gigantic squid.
What he's
Squid
holding.
and looks like,
Squid.
There's squid.
yeah,
Yeah.
Wow.
and mackerel. Is that a mackerel?
No, they're
too?
both squid.
No, they're both squid.
Wow.
Whatever it is, he's super
They're
happy
squids.
about it.
Better known as bait.
And then this came up, Tom, and I didn't realize Emery put this in the slide deck.
Yeah.
Did you forward this out to everybody?
I did.
Okay. So we're getting towards the end of the comment period. It's this Wednesday. There really isn't a ton of information on this thing. So I'm not sure what it is we can comment on, but we were tasked.
I was hoping that if I sent it to 10 more people, they would have a better understanding than I did when I read it, but
Yeah.
I wasn't sure what it was actually asking for. It just gave some information that I assume is the current kind of zoning, but it didn't really ask any
No.
questions, so I wasn't sure what the point of it was, in terms of feedback. I didn't understand what they were looking for.
You couldn't tell whether it was targeting Sandy Neck Park or what it was.
Well, it's the whole town, but
Yeah, but was they
wasn't-
sending it to us specifically for a
Well, I-
comment because it was, they want to do something to Sandy Neck Park? I mean, I couldn't figure
if they
it out.
do, it wasn't made clear in the documents that I read through, so.
Yeah.
So they sent it to the Shellfish Committee as well, which is another committee that I'm in charge of, and I think it was kind of the same,
Yeah.
what do we do with this?
Supplement.
Yeah.
I mean, I read it pretty thoroughly and just kind of read it twice and said, I don't know what to do with this. But I thought since they distributed it to me, I'd distribute it to you guys and maybe, because obviously some of you guys are involved in other committees and stuff, so you may have a clearer idea what's going on. Chris, I don't know if you have any light to shed on this.
No, I know that there was a deadline coming up, and
Yeah, it's the 24th.
yes, and I'm not very clear on,
23rd.
I haven't commented myself, so I'm not sure.
Should we reach out to I forget who it was, the person that sent us that and said, did you intend on sending this to us? What's
They
the
did.
purpose of this?
Well, they did, yeah, because they sent it to all the boards and committees, I think.
Well,
Caitlin Maldonado.
Yep.
Yeah.
maybe just ask the question, how does this affect us, in what way? Just so we're not blindsided on something, I don't know.
Yeah,
Do you want me to put it back up? Are you done with it?
yeah, just put it back up a second.
Yep.
I'm trying to find more
There
information.
I thought when you sent that email to all of us, I thought maybe you were going to be answering the questions for us as to what this was about.
I mean, the way I read this is that this is a, I mean, the only way this makes sense to me is that this is a proposed plan, right? Otherwise, if it's already there, it's a proposed plan. So there's nothing changing at Sandy Neck. I would guess the only thing that's really changing are things in Hyannis, maybe things to do with the sewer implementation.
Yeah, Independence Park, I think.
Yeah,
was-
but nothing to do, there's nothing happening, I think, that's new and different around us. So I just think it was a courtesy to everybody. Probably if you're on the Hyannis, whatever it is, downtown committee, you might be more interested in understanding this.
I'm just trying to read.
Yeah, you can't read the legend. Unfortunately, they use the same color about 4 times, so it's
I
like,
tried to look up the interactive version of this map. Oops, sorry. It's going to be submitted online. So it's
I looked it up, but
the LCPC is seeking feedback regarding the proposed land use study areas. Should any of the study areas be amended? Are there additional study areas that should be identified? So I know, for example, the town staff, Jim Kupfer and probably Kate Maldonado, is coming to the West Barnstable Civic Association, and we invited the Barnstable Village Association on November 12th to the West Barnstable Community Building. And in particular, they're going to speak of what was referred to as activity centers. One being, I think this is a community college, and the other is Independence Park. Oh, your community.
Your fingers.
Community college area,
Keep them off.
if you can make that bigger, just hit that
but it's fuzzy.
Yeah.
down the bottom there.
Community college area.
Down the bottom, it's the last one on the right, before you get to there. Yeah, you can hit that too.
I'm not sure that's going to help.
There you go. That's-
So there's a definition.
Oh, boy.
You'd have to scroll up. You got it down the side of here.
Duplicate.
It is painful.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's next on the agenda?
Yeah, right?
Technology,
Chris, does
I
that
love
help?
Yeah, so yeah, there's village centers, and I think that's the brown,
Yep.
or gray, historic village center. And then there are these quarters, I can't see the legend.
So the university is a historic village center? College?
No, they're calling it activity center.
Ah,
It's different from the historic village centers.
okay.
So, so what is a community college? That might be the blue. Yeah, community college is right there.
Right.
And then this must be Independence Park, yes, Independence Village area is the orange. So they're just asking, should the boundaries change? Do you have any other suggested activity center? Unless you want to say that Sandy Neck is an activity center.
I don't know what a definition of an activity center
That's
is.
really,
I mean, they don't tell you that anywhere in there that I'm aware of. There's no definition. I can't recall seeing any definitions provided for what these things are. So how they're defined.
Just, for example, at the community college, they're expanding, at the community college, they're expanding the park and ride. The rail trail is supposed to come through. The college is there. Kimber Woods Housing is there, YMCA, the Symphony. So there's some idea that there could be or should be some coordinated effort so that we can maximize its use and not have all of these come independently. For example, if the rail trail is coming across and there's going to be a bridge, maybe it can be wide enough to accommodate pedestrian crossing as well over 132. Just an idea. Those are, it said, we know these things are coming at different times. Is there a way to do this a better way? With some foresight and at the next 10 years.
Is there a selection of townspeople that are also working on this in addition to just the people that work for the town?
Yeah, the local comprehensive committee
Okay,
been working on it for over a year.
okay.
So those suggestions that you made, like, saying the thing about the rail trail and pedestrians or different, is there an area where those proposals are that people can see? Or is
Not
that
really,
just
no.
collectively,
Yeah, they just,
unless you are aware, which is,
yeah, I just attended the CPC meeting, and they just were informed that they got funding for the next phase of the rail trail coming from Yarmouth. So it's not in West Barnstable yet, but we know it's going to come. So in the next 10 years, where could it be? How does it interface with the college and the kids going to Burger King or the bus or whatever? It's just a way to flesh out ideas for the next 10 years.
but we don't have access to what those ideas are. Is that correct, kind of, sort of?
They're going out to the villages to kind of say, what do you think we should be considering? They're kind of doing public outreach.
Yeah, I think,
Who's they? That's the
Town staff and the committee.
the planning.
Yes, the planning board, the planning department with the local comprehensive planning committee.
Okay.
I guess to some extent, our project fits into that, right? It's a pretty major project moving.
So I did go before the committee. I think it was a solid 9 months ago as the natural resource director. And we provided them a list of our priorities for the next 10 years. Sandy Neck was in there, and it was our project. That was the number one, Sandy Neck. We did discuss shellfish, we discussed herring runs. There's a lot of other topics that we're responsible for. And so we have that all embedded into it. And Sandy Neck was, I then had to rank them,
okay,
and Sandy Neck
yeah.
was right up there. So
Okay, so that makes sense.
we're in there.
Okay, so I think we have made comment then through Nina in that respect, so, okay.
great.
Yeah, that's it, okay. Okay, just a couple things. Under old business, obviously headline under conservation and beach erosion is our project. We're all kind of up to speed on that. Bill's not here, so I do want to get back the Eagle Scout. I've gone blank on his name, the one that's doing the boards as the latest project. So we do want to schedule him back once he's done to make a presentation back to the
You got it.
board, just so we can pepper him with tough questions. And
Right.
I think it's good. Being questioned and being challenged and doing presentations is, a lot of people would say they'd rather die than do it. So, it's
Part of their development.
It's part of their
And they did a really great job the last time they were here. So
exactly.
if we can invite them either November or
Exactly.
January.
Right. Doesn't matter when, just get them back when they're ready. under economic sustainability, which has typically been something I've kept kind of my eye on, which is really about, building the revenue opportunities at the beach park. It is an enterprise count. It is a business in that sense. So I've asked Maureen if she'd be willing to kind of take the lead on that one going forward. So we'll give her a chance to put her mind to this and think about these opportunities as well. So she's graciously accepted. So we'll be looking for a lot of brilliant ideas next month from Maureen. But I think the idea here is, it's not. It's a couple of things. I think first of all, it's new ideas, and no idea is a bad one. So thinking out of the box. Also, benchmarking's key. Look around at the other beaches, beach parks. What are they doing? We have we need to understand what our, so to speak, competition's doing. They may be innovating in a way that we haven't. So that's something we should be looking at to see what's up. And then just, listening at these meetings for ideas that might come up that we could potentially turn into revenue. I mean, there's been so much done at the park in the last 10 years, really. I mean, with the revenue that we're getting from clothing and some of that stuff is significantly increased over the years. We're talking a lot now about the fees and making sure our fees are competitive. That's generating a lot of additional revenue. So, I don't even, it could be events that could be held there. We've talked about that kind of at times. Could you hold an event there which could raise money? I mean, I don't know what the options are, but all ideas are good ideas. So I'd just like to have kind of Maureen lead that, and maybe at some point we could even have a discussion about that more generally, so people could all pitch in their ideas.
And Maureen, the idea is that there's such a movement for unplugged activities, and we really have an oasis for unplugged activities.
Absolutely.
And just to get that.
Yeah, and I think Renee, you're a key part of this because, you're looking at the kind of big picture at the RecCom level, and you can be a really great asset in helping us to see how we can use this facility more fully. Get the most out of it we can. So I'll put the pressure on you too to be a key contributor to that thinking. It's part of the public outreach too that Bill's kind of looking at too. So it's a combination of maybe utilization, but also can we utilize it in ways that also could make some money, that helps support the activities out there so we could do more, actually. Okay. So new business. We have old business. We have the fee discussion. We had a discussion in September, if you remember.
Right.
A lot of good input, and so I'm going to turn it over to Nina. We have to review it today and vote today on the fees for next year.
Yeah, so we have, never good, right?
Never good.
Let's see what happens. Okay, we're okay. This was my proposal that we discussed last in September. And the only thing that was coming up was the overnight camping. There was a suggestion of bumping these up a little bit more. Staff and I feel that we want to do little increments here and keep doing it every other year. But there were some questions about other beaches and what we're charged for overnight camping in other beaches. And what we learned was that Race Point self-contained is that number right there. Does that say 225?
Yes.
But it has a limit of 21 days for the whole year. And then Nauset, the number is right there.
466.
466. They have a slightly different ratio of when you can be on. We're 4 days on, 1 day off. These guys are 4 days on and then 72 hours off. So that sort of spreads out a little bit how many days you can overnight at Nauset. That's another way of handling it. Knock on wood, we've been open.
Right.
all the time, and Nauset unfortunately is having closures most of July, from what I understand, so that sort of squishes it down too. But having said that, it does add up. So if you buy a permit, now we're going to go up to $250 for a non-resident permit, and then you do 3 nights, you are getting up there in price. And so I think pushing this too quickly, we are bumping up against these being cheaper overall, if that makes sense. So again,
So you're
You know,
saying
it'd be-
250
So you kept it a
is too
very
much?
conservative.
Is that
Well,
what-
it was the overnight fees that was in question.
Right.
And that is what
Okay.
she's saying, that they're gonna keep the same. So it's not the 250, it was like the
The camping
12
nights,
to
right.
15 and the 20 to,
my point was, if you
Okay.
bought a sticker for $250, if you were
Yeah.
non-resident, and then you did 3 nights, that's almost another $100. So you're already up at $350. And so
Yeah.
it feels like we
Yeah,
we
I
probably
appreciate the
shouldn't.
comparison.
Yeah.
That helps.
So staff is sticking with these numbers that were reviewed last time. And I know I would need a vote tonight. I would definitely need a vote tonight if we were to get it on this coming up calendar year.
Can you just clarify a couple things? What is a rescue fee?
So rescue fee
$60.
is for the tenting area. So a lot of, too often,
Gets afloat.
hike out there, but suddenly can't hike back. And we have to use our resources to go get them. So we say, sure, we'll come get you, but it's going to be $60 a person.
Is,
Just tell them there's hungry coyotes out there. I guarantee they'll hike back. But-
It's very frustrating.
I ran afoul of that during the beach cleanup. And I felt bad for the poor people, and I did not know that there was a rescue fee.
so
My bad.
what if they're in dire
Did you get in trouble?
straits?
Yeah, we wouldn't charge for an emergency.
Yeah.
I can
So it's
assure you
highly
after 20.
discretionary if it's not a medical, anything of that nature, you
So I
would not
think
charge.
what,
deterrent, to be
but
honest.
yeah, because I think what I remember is that not only, it's a staffing situation.
Right.
So you just have to kind of mitigate that there are just so many people on the staff.
Same.
So it's a deterrent
Same.
that be responsible. And in the case of an emergency, that's what I remember the discussion, that it had some staffing implications.
Well, and also, we've approved it for the last,
Yeah.
13 years.
There's nothing on the table right now.
you know, it's already.
Do
that's
people
what-
understand that they could be subject to a rescue fee
Yes.
before they get themselves into a situation? Oh, okay.
And I do know the difference between a medical emergency and somebody who doesn't want to hike off the beach.
Yeah.
I am not only a park manager, but I'm also a mother.
Yeah,
Mitigate the risk.
yeah, nothing
Okay,
like
so,
carrying a 30-pound child. Can-
so in terms of any other comments, go ahead, Bill.
I'm sorry, I still
okay.
had a couple more questions.
Sure.
The campfire permit, we listened to Miss Lamb last month.
We didn't go up
on
on
that
that either, did we?
No.
But, it was heartfelt. I heard what she was saying, she remembers when it was $5 and, now every time it's $20 and it's just a lot of money. Could we, and I suspect that we don't make a lot of money on those $20 fees. So my comment is, would it make sense, thinking of that poor woman who I heard and listened to, and we were sort of saying no to her. We definitely were saying no to her.
I'm still saying no.
Could
It
we?
didn't go up, did it? Right?
No, it didn't. But she had a history. She went back, to when it was free, and then it was $5, and then.
So here's a recommendation. You
So-
buy an ORV resident and you can go out there 5 times or more than 5. Now it's cheap because if you got an ORV permit, you can go out there and burn.
Okay, so she may be a regular person and cannot be a regular person because it's just too expensive for her. So as an alternative, could we say something like, I'm just throwing out anything, you pay us $50, a one-time fee, and you can have your campfires for the summer?
Absolutely.
Or some figure
No.
Never.
that would seem nicer to
That's
to
nice.
somebody.
$20 is nice. That's chump change nowadays.
Yeah, but you had to listen to her. You had to hear her.
I do feel for her, but there are beaches in Sandwich that she can go to. She is a Sandwich resident.
Right.
I believe there's beaches that you can have fires at.
Town
We have limited number of fire permits, and so there's no gift certificate because then everybody would expect it every night. So it is, it's quite a heavy lift for staff to do it. I think it's a privilege, and I hope she keeps coming. But she can
Yeah.
make that decision.
Okay.
And I
then-
think we also want to put this in perspective with the big project, right? So the big project says there might be some money that has to come up at some point in time, and this is being prudent, that we're being responsible to have some buffer there should that other big project, it serves everyone. It serves her as well, right?
But that was one of my first questions, how much does this really contribute, as part of our revenues? Is it, I can't believe it's going to be that significant.
I think we saw in the last meeting, when you shared the reserve, and how over time, we have reserve because we're being very cost conscious here.
No, but I'm saying specifically for that item, that
Oh, I'm talking about
particular
the
item.
items in total, and the key here is, that item in particular didn't go up. So to me, just rationally thinking, nothing went down, but that one, if that one had gone up, I think we would have had some kind of discussion, because we heard from, a consumer, but it didn't go up.
So,
Let's move on.
so
I had a question on how much we make on campfire permits. Fiscal year '23, $5,240.
yeah, so they'll pay for a truck. Chris,
Just a note, shellfish licenses used to be free for seniors,
yeah,
and now it costs money. But quite frankly, having worked in the shellfish department, the retired seniors did a lot of harvesting.
I was going to
They
say.
were, they were,
Most.
they were big beneficiaries. But anyways, I'm just saying that I think that the cost is reasonable.
I think if we had 20 people show up, then I'd probably be a little bit more. But look, at a high level, our job is to be as strategic as we can as a board, right? Our job is to encourage the team to look at the strategic issues they have in front of them. In this case, specifically, a big project, which means we need revenue to support these projects. How they get there, I mean, I think it's, worth discussions, but honestly, I don't think we want to be micromanaging operational decisions about whether it should be $10 or $15 or, it's really not what we're here to do technically. So our job, we have to look at this and say, is this directionally correct? Is this generating additional revenue? Is this working towards that objective of being competitive with other beaches, of being supportive of generating additional cash for the project? Those are the high-level things we have to look at. Whether it's $10 or $20 or somebody comes to complain, I mean, honestly, that's really up to Nina and her team to figure out whether they
And I
think
think
they
it's
should.
important to have people feel that we can listen.
Yes, and
So
they're welcome to come.
in And listen, and I feel good that it wasn't an item that went up. So,
I can remember a few years ago, I'm sure, Rich, some of you will remember, we had a one-fee year where there was a lot of people here. I mean, we actually had the police here that one year, remember? We had it was a fee discussion, I think. I remember that night. Anyway, but, you have to remember that Nina and her team get feedback constantly all throughout the year on this stuff. I mean, we get a meeting here, a meeting there where someone might show up, but that team is getting, so her decisions around this kind of stuff are well informed by all the feedback she's getting through the year. These are the guys that are meeting with the other beaches. They're current on what they're doing, what they're thinking about. So I think we should kind of fuzz our eyes at this and look at it, go, is it directionally correct? Does it make sense? Is it moving forward? Is it making the right kind of movement towards additional revenue opportunities? We're not leaving lots on the table. And make a motion to approve it.
Not yet. One
Okay.
thing. The asterisk at the very bottom, fee can be waived for Barnstable school groups. Isn't that
Halfway house.
all school groups? Yeah, for the halfway house?
Right, yeah.
Isn't that for all school groups, and isn't it for all nonprofits?
No,
No.
Oh, I thought nonprofits
no.
were not charged a fee.
No, they had the option of using it because they can underwrite the insurance.
Right.
That's,
They've had the fee from last year is there. It was $100 and $150. That's the way it's
you're
been.
getting confused with a special permit, which is a no charge. But halfway house use is for nonprofits and is our only revenue stream. I do waive it for Barnstable schools because that's our schools, but other schools would have to pay for it.
Great.
We don't get much use of the halfway house, right? That was one of our
working on that.
discussions.
We're working on it.
Yeah, we're getting there.
We're working on
We
it.
talked about that a few meetings ago, and I asked everybody, myself included, to try to come up with some ideas on how we could utilize that more. I did talk to Cape Wildlife about it. We didn't confirm up anything, but that's the only contact I've had. But as to whether they could bring interns out there as they get them in the summer and show them kind of in the field, things like that. So, but if you have any ideas, bring them to Nina.
Cost be an issue. $100 a night.
I'll tell you what, if we get a great group that wants to go out there, I'll pay the $100, okay? I mean, it's,
Yeah, I mean, you got to be quoted on that.
I am quoted on
mean,
it. I would pay it.
I wonder if that high fee could be chasing some groups away.
So I would also say, and maybe this is kind of connected to what the recreation group does, there is a fund that is always available for hardship. So is that something that could be mirrored here, so that if someone is saying that they have the hardship, that there's a reserve there for that? Because it's kind of a balance, and I think your statement's valid. We want to increase the usage, but find the data of what is blocking it. I think it's word of mouth, but it may, if it's cost, then let's at least hear that. But that's another option, that it's there, because the recreation always has that, if that's the barrier.
I would assume that the team at Sandy Neck uses their judgment on those things.
We have the right to do that as well. And the barrier for halfway house use is how remote it is, how rustic it is.
Yeah.
And it's not for everyone. But I do have a Barnstable school group. I'm getting more involved. I'm on the, I'm going to be on the Environmental Technologies Advisory Board, which starts on Thursday. So I'm starting to hook into that. And then Anne Marie Lupino is on the advisory board for Upper Cape. So we're really trying to engage more. So there's no money to be made there, but there might be some more use.
I think it's okay to have that as a loss leader. I think getting usage of that and getting people out there to enjoy and learn about this new environment is well worth us subsidizing it in any way we possibly can, just to get the usage up. If we had this being used all the time, then it'd be a different story. The demand would satisfy a fee. But I just...
Well, I think what Nina's saying, Bill, is that when they get someone that's interested, if there is a financial issue, that she addresses that, so.
Yeah, I do.
I mean, don't forget, we can always ask for an additional donation. I mean, a lot of these folks, they will be more than happy. The school's got monies to take and basically fund a lot of things, and even though there's no charge, they can give us a
So
donation.
just think of what the town of Barnstable youth commissioners do under George Noonan. Just introducing them to that. So when you come to talk, let's make sure we highlight that.
Yep.
Because that's a group that is
Yep.
extremely impressive. It's both Barnstable and Sturgis.
Right.
And ask them, because I'm going to tell you, when I talk to those young people, they have ideas that we could really listen to. So let's make sure that when we have the presentation about the project, that we highlight that.
Yep.
And the Youth Commission, this will be their first meeting with us because they're now back. They'll be there. So I'll set the stage. And that, like I say, when you talk to them and you ask them their why, they're quite impressive. I'm so glad to always get a chance. They have purpose. So the environment is a huge purpose for this.
It could be combined, a combination project where they actually have to raise the money to do it, in which case they learn how to do that, plus,
Yeah, like the Boy Scouts.
you have to be creative, so. Okay, can I get a motion to approve the fees recommendation to the town council, town manager?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, motion carried. Thanks, everybody.
Who seconded that?
He seconded.
I second, yes.
Rich.
Yes.
Got it.
That's right, we have to slow down because
Motion.
I saw it.
we got Nina doing the notes. We'll have a short set of minutes.
Yes. Very short.
Okay, the only other thing we have to talk about today is regulations, which I think,
Actually, I would like to take a minute to talk a little bit more about our coastal resiliency project. Also on the agenda on Thursday night is the acceptance of yet another CZM grant.
Great.
So we did receive the fiscal year '25 CZM grant, which is for $90,000, which is going to cover from the moment that we're at right now with 100% design to the getting a contractor. So there's still a little stuff in between that we need to do, and that 90 is going to help us with those last odds and ends. There's a $10,000 match, which I have in reserve, so I don't need to ask for that. I have it tucked away in some accounts. So it's excellent news. It shows the council, I think, bam, 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 every year we're asking for money from CZM, and every year we're receiving money. So the next one would be fiscal year '26, and that would be the big ask for construction. So we're hoping to do that as well tomorrow night, Thursday night.
I think that's going to help you sell it.
I do.
You can say that since we met last, since you met with the town council last, that the board increased fees, that you received a new grant.
Yep.
I think it shows that you're dynamic, you're working on it.
Also help here, so the program that you have coming up for Hyannis West.
Yeah.
The turtle.
Bring that up as well.
Bring that up, because
Yes,
I'll
ma'am.
talk to you about a date that we have. Because these are all things that just needs to get out there.
Yeah, we've
Thank
been
you.
doing.
It shows momentum, that even though you made an initial presentation and were prepared to vote on it, since then, things have gotten even better,
And
so.
I really do. I mean, again, this is one project. Let's show the Cub Scouts. That picture is priceless. The fact that, we have the benefit of hearing the young gentleman present the osprey nest. Look at the picture. Look at the sign. So we need to share that because the town council has the broad community audience.
that's right.
Excellent.
And I think the good news with CZM particularly is because this whole project has been, an awful lot of the project's been funded by them. It would be pretty hard to understand that at this point, they're all of a sudden going to, well, no, we don't.
Never mind.
I mean, just for their own, stature, I guess I'm trying to think of the right word. But yeah, I mean, you would think, it's a good project. It's well run, it's well thought out, it's been vetted well. And yeah, the funding is tricky, but there probably aren't going to be loads of other projects that are going to look as good as this one, just in terms of how it's been put together. So, so I would think, it's a great kind of, CZM has given us 10 different levels of funding through this project, and we're going in for the big one soon. So, hopefully they could connect the dots there and say, well, geez, these guys are pretty committed, so.
Do you have a dollar, I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, I think that it would reflect on CCM very well, as, you know, that this is the
course.
work we expect the state to support.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you have a
No,
dollar
it's-
figure on that, what you are expecting, the big,
What's the max,
big dollar amount?
was the max 2 million for, I forget what,
Is that what you're asking me, what
Yeah.
the max
Yeah.
is? The
Is-
max
is it
for, the
still
max
2
for
million?
fiscal year '26, as far as we know, is 2
2
million.
million, yeah.
And that's a maximum?
Yeah, 2 million.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
and that gets us,
There.
yeah, we're in the mothership by then,
Okay.
yeah.
And related to that, did you get the audit, independent audit that said certifying that we've got the $1.5 million, you know, how you said we needed to
Yep.
get that little bit of information that we
Yep.
do have $1.5 million in the reserve fund?
Yep,
Sort of.
it's
So
just
that's a
it's just
done
a
deal?
hair under $1.5 million, I want to say 480, but
Okay.
it's right in that ballpark, yep.
So
We
we
just
got
received
through that.
that, yeah.
And there are other grants that are being applied for too, so, outside of CZM, so. Okay, sorry, regulations?
So regulations are every other year generally, and we talked as a group, and there really aren't any big regulation changes. I think our regulations are really tight.
Yeah.
And so I didn't want to, it's quite a heavy lift to do it, so little minor grammatical changes, it's not worth it. So staff and I are recommending that we wait and reevaluate again next year.
Sold.
Okay. All in favor?
That was
Aye, okay.
Was that do we really need a vote? No.
I didn't say, I just said sold.
So,
I said second.
I said first things first, let's get the big one out of the way.
We've accepted your operational
but I
Documentation.
without question.
No, no, good.
Okay. Any public comment?
thank you for coming.
Yeah,
Wendy.
thanks, Wendy, as always. My
After
my adjunct board member.
I'm still working.
He just texted me, he's just leaving Wellfleet now.
Yikes.
Motion.
Okay, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second it.
All in favor?
I'm good at second.
Slow as your life, brother.